Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV. I'm your host, Ed Troxel, and here we have the conversations that are worth having. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. I want you to go ahead and even if you have been following and been hanging out with us, always comment. There we go. Comment, show some emojis, and share this out with people. You'll notice me look down a little bit. I'm going to have actually the Facebook app open on my computer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to explain the whole setup that I have here. So when it comes to Facebook and how I'm using it, or Facebook Live, I should say, I created this show, Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having, so that we can just hang out and have conversations. Like literally conversations about business, tech, and the user experience. It's all about testing and being able to test out what works, what doesn't. You'll notice that if you've been watching, hey, Tammy, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you. And you can see this stuff going on here. I'll kind of explain that here in a second. But what's interesting is you're constantly testing. That's with anything in your business. And if you don't have a business, you're thinking about starting one, just know that you want to test everything. If you've been watching the different episodes, which there have been some really good ones, so you want to catch them later, they're over at checkwithed.com. Just click on the blog and you'll see it. Or here's another way. If you go to checkwithed.com later and you click on the Facebook Live show, it also gives you all the details about the show. It gives you an option to become a guest on the show. That's right. You can become a guest. You don't have to have X amount of followers. You don't have to have a huge, audience. None of that. You just have to have a reason why. And what is it that you enjoy doing? What do you love to do? And let's talk about it. So there's all that. And then you also have a quick link to all the episodes. So it's clean. It's easy for you to catch up with. Past episodes we've talked about yesterday was about sales, like pricing your services, your offerings, all of that. It was really good. The day before, we actually had a really great one about Facebook pages. So if you haven't done that, definitely do it. Tammy, love it. Living the dream every day, all day. That's what we're talking about here. That's what I'm doing too. So get pumped up if you haven't already. So be sure, like Tammy's doing, comment. Even if you're watching the replay, I still want you to engage because I follow up with you afterwards. Other people are going to see your comments. They're going to be able to engage with you. So show the love, comment, and show some emojis because here's the tip. And this is something you can take with you too. If you go past just liking something on Facebook, then you give the algorithm, that person, that post a little boost when you start using those emojis. So keep that in mind. And let me go ahead and mute myself over here. Now, here's the thing. If you have questions, we're going to talk about Facebook stories today. I'm going to try to demonstrate that for you here with my phone plugged in. I'm going to give you some info about my setup here. But we're going to talk about Facebook stories, and then I have a fun article about there's 17 smart tips for those who work from home, what they should be following, I guess. So if you have tips, I want you to share them along the way, even if you're watching the replay. Before we jump into the content, let me give you a quick overview of what I'm using as my setup here. And I'll tell you, it's funny because I'm just like you, even though I may be a little bit more techie, depending, I will tell you, even the tech savvy people, even like that know everything about tech, will still run into issues and then things will just happen. What do I mean? Well, if you have been watching the episodes, I've been using my regular computer camera. Now, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. Let me back up for a second. So my setup currently is I'm using my computer, a webcam, which we'll talk about that in a second, and Ecamm Live, which is why I'm able to bring on comments like that. And then if enough of you say hello, I'll put them all on the comments and we'll do kind of like a group screenshot. So that's always fun. But that's also how I got this bar. Well, that's not part of Ecamm. That's something I created. So this bar, how to get your logo on and also create the intro and then what you'll see after the show, an outro video. that's all stuff I did, and I'm actually having a live training next week. I can drop the link in the comments for anybody who's interested. I know a few people already have signed up for it, which is awesome. I'm super excited about it. We talked about that yesterday on yesterday's show, so that's going to be fun. So that kind of talks about not just the Facebook Creator app, but how to spice things up for your Facebook Lives. So hello, Fernando. Perfect. So what else am I doing? So I have normally the last few days I've been going through my actual computer. I have a MacBook, going through that webcam, right? Well, it's because the webcam that I bought that I've been using prior with a different program wasn't working. So of course, here, this is where you can relate, right? Tell me in the comments if you relate to this. So today I finally decided to type up a chat in the Ecamm Live Facebook group, which if anybody from Ecamm's watching, shout outs to you guys. You're awesome. And thank you so much for just being there. But here's the thing. I put in the comments, I posted in the group, I should say, that I was like, is there any way that I can get this webcam to work? Because for whatever reason, every time I try to use this camera, even though I know it works every other program, it just wasn't working on this one. For whatever reason, it wasn't working. It would be all blurry. And of course, we joked about that's a new filter coming out, which is not. So then today, literally, I just plugged it in 5 minutes ago and I'm clear. I'm on here. I'm fine. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, how is this working? So whatever they did or didn't do, it's working. So that's just how it goes, right? Who else experiences that? So definitely, hey, Nikki, definitely be sure to share some hearts, some laughters, all of that good stuff down in the comments there. Now, if this is your first time joining, definitely say hello. Let me know it's your first time because it's always exciting to see who's here for the first time. And let's keep the conversation going. So before we jump into today's content, I like to do random news, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that, I don't know about you, but what about laundry? Like, does anybody here like to do laundry? Let me say that a little differently. Does anybody here like to fold the clothes after they do the laundry? Nope. Crickets, right? Well, you may be in luck for this random news. So let me go ahead and switch my screen over to this guy, and let me play it for you. If you were curious, you can soon have your own folding machine. That's right. You'll be able to throw in your laundry, it will analyze your clothes, and fold it for you. Pretty cool, right? Well, it's very interesting tech-wise, but let's see the price. It can be yours starting at $16,000. But wait, that's just for the initial sales. They plan on lowering the production later on for you to make it more affordable. And let me go ahead and get you guys back on my other screen here. There we go. So how cool is that? How many of you are going to go run out there for $16,000 and go get your folding machine? Folding laundry probably looks not half as bad now, seeing that, right? So anyway, that was that. Lindsay, yeah, I hate folding laundry. I agree. That's why a lot of things go up on the hangers. Like, let's put those things up because I'm not going to sit there and hang or fold everything. It was my dream to invent this. Well, there you go, Lindsay. You can look at what they're doing and then you can make it better. See what improvements you can do and see how you can make it more affordable, especially starting out. That's what it's about, right? That's about taking a look at what's out there. All right, so let's jump into stories. So first off, before I even do that, how many of you know what Stories is? Let me know in the comments there. It takes a minute. Sometimes it kind of goes through and it can be a little lag there. I want one. Lindsay says she wants one. She's going to be first to get one of those. But I also need to deliver it to the closet. So yeah. Well, there you go, Lindsay. You can get the machine, have it fold, and then while it's folding, you can start designing how it can then spit out the folded laundry into your closet as if it's like one of for the pitching where the balls come out at you, right? Obviously, not really good at that stuff, but you can get that and then have it like almost like money, right? Boop, 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 boop. So there you go. Paula, yes. She's all, I can hire a housekeeper for that. There you go. Giving jobs to somebody and more affordable, right? Lindsay says, Facebook stories. Yes. Okay, perfect. So we got one person that knows stories. Awesome. If you're watching the replay, still chime in because you're still here and we're still going to go over it. So Facebook stories is similar to Instagram stories. If you are on Instagram, they had stories first, and then they've gone through that, right? Oh, perfect. No idea. Love it. No idea what Facebook stories are. Excellent. So basically, Facebook stories is a 24-hour snapshot of your day. Kind of think of it as Snapchat, if you're familiar with Snapchat. Even if you don't use Snapchat, never used it, it's too complicated, like that's okay. But just think of the idea of Snapchat, maybe Periscope. Those are things where they've made it so that it's 24 hours and then it disappears. Well, then Instagram took that, and we all know Instagram's owned by Facebook now, but Instagram applied the stories there. And then now Facebook has implemented stories. So those of you who are using or know of stories, tell me in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, are you using stories? And if you are, I'm curious what you're using them for. You can go ahead and put that in the comments there while I get my other screen here set up. Because that's important to know. No idea how to use it. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And Tammy says, have no idea how to use it for business. Excellent. That's what we're going to talk about today. And this is going to be fun. And of course, let me mention that stories can be whatever you want. What I'm sharing with you is what I'm testing. It's what you might be testing. And that's the beauty of it. It's all for testing purposes. So that way you can see what works, what speaks to your audience. Now, stories, I will say, is becoming more popular on Facebook. It's pretty popular on Instagram, and in fact, it's kind of the only thing I really do now on Instagram. I post a little bit, and I kind of do a quick one of these to see what's in my newsfeed, but for the most part, I just go straight to stories and then just see those, because it's just giving me a snapshot of the person's day. So when you're testing these out, just know that you can test it. It's okay. And you can always delete it and change it and all of that stuff. So now Facebook has adapted it and it's becoming more popular. I personally am starting to see more people use it. And they're watching my stories, which I'll show you that in a second. But when it comes to the actual Facebook stories, think of it as just snapshots of your day. Think of it as a way to talk to your audience one-on-one. And you may be thinking, well, Ed, who's my audience? Like, I don't know. Whoever tunes into your story, that's your audience. They actually care enough to click on your face, which we're going to share in a minute, and actually watch your story. Whether they just are curious or they love following you or whatever. So stories allows you to just get a little bit more personal with whoever's going to tune in. And what's cool about the Facebook stories is that they've connected it to Messenger so that now your stories show up on Facebook and in the Messenger app, so that way people actually see it in more places. So obviously you're getting more eyeballs, right? So let me go ahead and switch over to my screen. Now you're going to see my actual Facebook page. So there might be some notifications that pop up on my phone. I'll try to get rid of them as quickly as possible because we're live and we're using my actual phone. So let me go ahead and switch over to that guy. Perfect. So you should see my screen here and see me actually still talking on the live there because it says Ed Troxel there. Now, here's the thing. I'm on my page right now, by the way. So this is what my page looks like on mobile. And then as you scroll down, you'll now see on pages that they give the option for you to actually create a story for your page. Now, for mine, I actually do have one. I'm not going to show the page one today because I want you to actually go see it later and then drop a comment there. So there's a little homework for you. But we're going to go ahead and look on my personal profile. And if I just look at my personal profile, that's all it shows, right? And then you can scroll and go through my feed and all that. But if I'm on my home screen here, hey, Nicole, shout out to Nicole. This is my normal feed, right? Well, you notice at the top, though, it says your story, and then it shows other people's stories. Now, when you want to actually create something, you click on the new story, or click on your story, and then we'll say, I don't know, can I? No, you can't see there. Okay, we'll do that, or if I want, I can say, hey, hello, there you go, right? So there's a couple ways to do this, but right now you're just looking at my screen, and then if I switch it over, whoops, you'll notice that there's a couple options up here. And if this is making sense, go ahead and say yes in the comments. If not, tell me, let me know. I want to make sure that you guys are getting this and understanding this. And don't forget to share, obviously. But when it comes to your stories, you have a couple options. Now, I love this part, this text part, and I'll show you a real example in just a minute. But when it comes to your stories, you have two options. Yes, Lindsay, shout out to Nicole. We love Nicole. You have a couple options when you hit your story. You can either go live. So if I tap on that, it will say go live, and then I'm not doing a hand model there. I'm not going to try to do that. Or I can do a normal photo, or I can pull up one from my actual photo gallery, and then I can also add effects. So if we tap on that, you'll see there's different effects. And as you click on it, you can change these different effects here. That makes you a little sick, but there we go. So there's all these different things that you can do with these effects. And again, play with this, test it out, see what works for you. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. We'll put it back on this one just to kind of make it fun there for you guys. And then you would just hit your normal button in the middle. You would tap it if you want to take a picture, or you would press and hold to do a short video. And then you have the actual text option, which is my new favorite because of a few reasons. You can type in whatever you want. There we go. We're just going to get quiet for a minute. So there we go. And then you can change the color. You can do whatever you want here. And then we'll go with, sure. And then if I hit done, now check this out. This is bonus. I hope you guys are loving this and giving some emojis there, because this is a big one that I'm about to share with you. And I hope you're going to take notes and tell me in the comments if you like this or not. Notice that we have three options down below. We have save, your story, and next. Well, if you just want to add this to your story, that's awesome. You can just hit your story, or you can hit next, and it gives you more options. You can post it to your story, you can post it on your feed, you can share it to other stories, or directly to people in Messenger. So get as creative as you want with that, but the key I want to point out here, because we're all about repurposing, right? I mean, at least I am. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to make life easier, not harder, and trying to work smarter, not harder, right? So I want to be able to create something once, depending on, of course, where I'm at and what the conversation is, but I want to be able to create something once and then use it somewhere else. So what I like to do is I like to hit that save button. It saves it to my camera roll. I have an iPhone. If you have Android, it will save it to your photo album or whatever you refer to that as. So now I can put this in my story. It goes back to my news feed. And then if I click on my story up here, if I actually tap on that, watch what happens. It brings up the last story. So I'm going to pause for a second and hold that. Cool. I never saw the next button. Awesome. See, this is what I love about you guys having a conversation in the comments, letting me know and letting others know what you're learning. That's what it's all about. The magic happens in the comments. So awesome, Lindsay. Thank you so much. And I know how tech can be, right? Because we're not sure how we want to proceed. And sometimes we don't want to actually click it on anything because we're afraid it's going to break or it's not going to get us to where we want and we won't be able to get out. Yes, exactly, Lindsay. Save and great things to remember. Perfect. Love it. And here's a fun thing. Even for those watching the replay, I want you to also make note later to let me know if you start using stories and how you start using them after this show, after this episode. You can tag my business page. You can drop a comment in the community area, which if I remember, I'll show you at the end of the show, just so that way you're familiar and you know how to do that with other pages. Why am I telling you this? It's not only to boost my page, it's to engage and show you how to start utilizing Facebook for your business. It's also for you to start being able to get traffic with your business page, right? Because we're trying to engage and interact with each other. So that is the point of all of this, is just to have that conversation. Welcome to those joining. Feel free to pop into the comments, say hello, give us some emoji love, and then, yeah, let's keep the conversation rolling here. So I'm holding down on my screen right now, which is why it looks funny, which is why you don't see any action going on. Now, last night, I pulled this clip from last night's episode because we had a good time. We talked about pricing. I did a little rap about the comments, which was fun. So I decided to put that in my story. And so here we go. Let me play it. And it's not going to actually play the sound because I have it on mute right now. So it's having me go through there. And if you tap on the right-hand side, it goes to the next story. If you tap on the left-hand side, it goes back one story. So there you go. Paula, perfect. I never looked at stories, so this is great stuff. That is awesome. I love hearing that. You guys are making my day. Thank you. So when you tap on the left or the right, it makes it go forward or backwards. Let me get my mouse in there. Forward or backwards. Now, here is where that text part comes into play, and I want you guys to start thinking outside of the box. When you are curious about something, maybe you have a question, maybe you want to poll your audience. Well, we'll stick with question for right now, because you can do polling differently on a Facebook post. So let's stick to a question. If you want to ask a question and you actually want people to respond, because maybe you don't think they will on your news feed, because remember, when you post something on your newsfeed, even if it's to friends, not publicly, but it's just to friends, depending on the question and who reads it, they may not be so open to just sharing their feedback with you publicly like that, because they might be afraid, like they can joke with you, like you and I, for any of you guys who follow me and we connect, you know that I love to just bring some humor to the table. And you know that I'm going to, put in a fun emoji or a GIF image or whatever. And so other people might be like, wow, that didn't make any sense compared to what they were asking, or whatever the case may be. So stories is a great way to go ahead and ask your audience a question. And it allows them to then just be one-on-one with you, because when they respond to the story, it goes to your Facebook Messenger, or Facebook messages, I should say. I use Messenger, so it comes in there. But whenever you watch a story and you send them a message, it will actually go straight to their Facebook Messenger chat. So that way it's just you and that person talking. And then that way they feel a little bit more comfortable with you, right? So that's how you can go about this. So today I actually did this with the text option. I typed up a question for you. And then if I hit the next one, I say, which option do you prefer? This was just open brainstorming, just wanted to see. Now you'll notice that in the lower left corner, if I can get my mouse, there we go. In the lower left corner, you can see the number of people who have watched this, if it's your story. So this is mine, which is why you're seeing that number. You can also see add to story there too. So just keep that in mind. And then at the top, you have these 3 little dots where you can edit your story, save it. So maybe you forgot to save it earlier and you want to now, you can do that. Or guess what? You could delete it if you were like, this is just not good, I want to delete it. So just keep that in mind. Excellent, Lindsay. I'm so glad that this is helping you guys. I hope this is helping everyone else. Let me know in the comments. So that's how you can get there. Now, if we wanted to just close this out and get back to our normal feed, we can just hit the X. So I asked that question, then I came up with something and I thought, okay, I'll say, what are your thoughts on blank? And then there's the one I just created. So it's just a way to have a conversation with somebody one-on-one. And sometimes they may not even have a conversation piece. They may not respond to you because they're just watching. If I go to the next story, after it's done playing at the top here, you can see the little bars. It goes to the next story. So shout outs to Jane. There we are. I'm going to pause for a second just because I want to show you. There's the camera, so you can take a picture and send it to the other person. You can also reply, or you can actually have the emojis show up there. So how cool is that? Joyce, why do I want to use this as opposed to just going live? Ooh, great question. That's a great question. So let me pop back over for a second here. So that's a great question. There's a couple ways that you can go about this. Again, everyone's going to use stories differently. Some may not even use stories, and that's okay. Going live is great, as you can see, and as we know from the way Facebook wants us to go, we need to go live more in order to get seen and heard. But it will depend on your content. It will depend on what you're trying to go for. It will also depend on you. Are you ready to go live? Are you comfortable enough to go on camera and ask a question? By doing this enough, I can say yes, and I feel more comfortable now doing video than typing up something because I'm like, oh, I'd just rather have this conversation and hang out with you guys, right? So it really depends on you and what you're looking for. Stories is just a quick thing, and again, you can do video. So remember, you can do a quick little video of yourself for your story. You can either go live, do a video, or take a picture, or do the text. So there's plenty of options there. It's just remember that it's a one-on-one conversation. Even though tons of people can watch it, when somebody responds, it's just you and them in that conversation, if that makes sense. Let's see, Lindsay. Do you know anything about our story on business pages? Yes, so that's the same thing. You'll be able, if it's not related to Facebook stories. So Facebook stories now is available, I'm pretty sure, on all business pages. It was rolling out for a while. I have it on mine. I'm pretty sure it's on all the business pages. They're still working on that and making sure that you have that option. Now, you can do a business page story, and as you saw, it let me do that through the Facebook app. You can also go through, if you have iPhone, it's not on Android yet. I know it's not me, it's Facebook. I don't own it, so I'm sorry. But on the Creator app, you can actually go through and do the same thing. You can go straight to your page and do the stories part. And again, it's just for fun. The reason I'm planting the seed here with the personal profiles is because I want you to start carrying that over to your business page. I want you to start carrying that over if you go to Instagram. Play with Instagram stories and Facebook stories for design purposes. You can do posting on both if you want, but design purposes, because they both offer something different. So that's the cool thing. Lindsay, can you draw on Facebook stories? I have not seen an option for drawing on there. You could take any photo, you could take a screenshot or a photo of your drawing and upload it. So there's that option, but actually like drawing on the screen, I have not seen that yet. So let me go ahead and go back to our screen here. So that's just how you can look at those stories. Now, you can see also there's a play all button here at the top. And then I'm just refreshing my feed there. That's so funny that it's still there. And then if I go back to my business page here, this is still within the Facebook app. You can see now it shows add to story. And then, like I said, I'm not going to show it now, but you guys can go look at my story here and answer the question that I have there. So that's how you can add to your stories. Now, when it comes to using the Instagram versus Facebook, let me go ahead and go over to Instagram there and go up to stories. So here's a bonus, because I wasn't going to show this, but you guys are doing a great job at engaging and really looking at the content here. So I want you to see the difference with the Facebook and the Instagram, just to plant the seed for being more creative with your options. So hopefully you're enjoying that, and definitely share in the comments what's working and what you'd like to know. So if you see here, the little square down here, we're in Instagram right now. And can you tag people in stories? Tammy, great question. You know what? Let me go back to Facebook real quick and check that, because I do that in Instagram, but I have never had a reason to tag somebody. So let me see. We just jumped back to, nope, let's see. We just jumped back to Facebook for a second because I want to test that. Nope. So it doesn't look like in Facebook you can. However, and again, this is what I mean. You have to play with things and test them out. However, on Instagram, you can. So if I go here, I just uploaded a photo by tapping on the little square. And now if I hit the little A at the top, I can do at, and there, I tagged somebody. I tagged myself. So there's still some things that they need to work out in terms of making both stories a little bit easier for the user. I don't know if they really want people to have the same options on both platforms, but excuse me, they do have different features, and so that's why I want you to realize that there's two different ways that you can create stories in two different programs. So we're currently in Instagram. We saw that if we tap on the A, we can add text here. You can see on the side, we can go up or down. That just is our text on how big or small we want to go. Obviously, that's not the right word. There we go. For it, there's all these color options. There's the A. So, there's all these different things where you can just play with it. Just test it out. See what works. What I do a lot of the times is I use both stories. I post to both stories, but I also create in both programs and cross-promote, meaning I would take this image, even though that it's not a great one, I would hit save, and then I would go over to Facebook and upload it, because I liked the style here better, than the Facebook one. I personally like the fact that I can create the text here as big or as little as I want, and what's funny is it's easier to move around here versus on Facebook. It actually jumps a lot. The minute you move your text around, it could be gone in like 5 seconds, or a second, I should say. If there's something that you don't like, notice there's a trash can, and you just pop it in there. And what's cool is Instagram now has the lines that show up. So now you can kind of center things if you want. What's fun is Instagram gives you the little extras, so you can do a location, you can start doing your hashtags. You might see some people doing polls here, so you can ask a question. And then people can hit yes or no. Now that poll feature is only good on Instagram. So if you save this image, it will still share that photo with the yes and no on there with the question, but anybody on Facebook won't be able to actually click on those buttons. That's only on Instagram. Let's see, Lindsay, it seems like Facebook stories aren't used a lot. Yes, correct. Facebook stories haven't been utilized yet. They are starting to pick up some traction. I can see in the number of viewers recently. So it would seem easier to capture people's attention since it's at the top of the page. Is that what you've noticed? Yes. So let me go ahead and bring that back on for us. Let me get that out because this is a great question. So let me go ahead and switch back over. All right, so yes, Lindsay, that is a great question. That is why I'm telling you now to test stories. Even if it's something that you're like, ugh, I don't want another thing to do, give it a try. Because again, you can easily create a graphic in your story that you can share elsewhere. You can easily ask a question in your story that you might actually get a response to, a detailed response. Let me tell you, on Instagram today, I posted that same question about a couple of things that were just on my mind. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to reach out, put it out there, and see what happens. I had somebody actually respond saying, it depends on XYZ. And then that had a response. I had a response to that. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And then they asked me a question that really clicked. And then my natural response that I gave them was the answer that I was looking for. I just didn't know it because I needed to have that conversation. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it's kind of slim on the details there, but that's the point, is that you're trying to have the conversation with the people that are already following you. Because remember, you don't need to be worried about how many likes and how many followers you have, because those don't mean anything if you don't have the engagement. If you don't have people that you're actually talking with and having that genuine conversation to find out what they want, what they need, what you can help them with, what they can help you with. Like, all of that is why Facebook is changing their algorithm. All of that is why I'm not worried about any of that, because that's who I am. I connect with people. I love being able to connect with people. That's what this show's about. Tomorrow we'll have a guest on the show. Tomorrow and Friday, actually, we have 2 guests this week lined up. Super excited. And that's where you get to learn from other people. And each other's audiences can connect. That's the beauty of it. Perfect. Let's see. Thanks for your insight. Yep, definitely. You are so welcome, Lindsay. How cool is that? So that's what you want to start doing with these stories, is just testing them. And like Lindsay made a great observation, is that they're at the top of your newsfeed when you first open. And when you're in, I'm not going to pull up my messages here, but when you're on Facebook Messenger, they're at the top as well. They're literally at the top. So whenever you go into Facebook Messenger, the first thing you're seeing is add to your story, and then all the other people that had their stories. And then now they're getting creative, and they're having like ads in between, and then they're having, add contacts, and then they're having stories. So it's one of those things that, use it. It's a tool that's there. Test it out, see what works, and have fun with it. I'm starting to post more in my stories and on my business page, because let's face it, that's what I talk about, right? Is a lot about business and how we can all work together. That's grow our relationships. That's all I talk about. But I keep the focus on my business page, because why? That's where all of this happens. That's my storefront. That's what we talked about the other day. If you missed that episode, check the blog, because that's a good one. If you're just getting started, or if you have a business page but it's kind of dead, whatever, that's where you want to go, because that was a great one where we covered all of that. You want to make sure that you have a plan. And that plan can change, don't get me wrong, but you want to have some kind of plan in place. You want to pause for a minute, stop promoting all of your content, stop throwing everything out into the world, and pause and ask yourself, what am I doing? What do I want to be doing? Where do I want to be doing it? Like, that's what you really have to focus on. So if you are one of those that are like, praise Ed, yes, please keep preaching, which, hey, let's get some love on that. Then what you want to do is take this exercise and run with it afterwards. What you need to do is write down every profile you have. And I say write down because it's easier just to write them all out. But if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, use an Excel spreadsheet or just a Word document. Google Docs works too. Notepad works, whatever. But write down every single profile you have. That goes from Facebook profile, your personal one, business page, a group if you have it, your Instagram profile, maybe another Instagram profile, Twitter, whatever. Like write every single one of those down. And the reason I say if you start using the technology factor and have it on your notes or your Google Docs or Excel spreadsheet is you can then put the link to that profile next to it. So for instance, I can say, Facebook personal profile, link, Facebook business page, link. Why would you add the link? Because it makes it easier later to go through when you want to update your about section, because you need an about section. Make sure you have something. Go check those profiles afterwards and make sure you have something. If you have a website, a real website, not a Facebook business page, but a website, your website better be in all of your bios. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even if you are like, oh, Ed, my website's not good. If it's live, you got to put it there because that's where you're directing people. That's where you want them to go. So that is the reason why you create a website. It doesn't matter how fancy it is. As long as it's up and running, that's all that matters. If you need to work on it, that's fine. We always are working on our website. It's a work in progress. I had this conversation today, actually. I went to my local coffee shop, which is so awesome. And we were able to, the owner and I were able to talk for a minute. We usually do, but we really got to talk a little bit extra. And, she was like, I see you doing so many things. I'm able to catch some of your lives, every so often, she's got a 2-year-old, so it's hard. But she's like, yeah, we definitely need to talk, shop soon. And I love what you're doing with social and getting, businesses on the right foot and everything. And it was just like, I love that she knew that before I even said what I do or how I do it, and being able to, take that to the next level with that conversation, right? So if you don't think going live works, it does. It helps you. It builds not only, let's forget about all of you watching, even the replay viewers. Let's forget about people watching it for a second. Let's bring it back to you, just you. By going live, you are working on yourself. You are showing up. You're being, you're holding yourself accountable. You are testing your speech. You're testing your presentation. You're paying attention to all these different things. I mean, let's look at, I have a webcam. I have a monitor. I have a program that I'm in. I have another computer over here with screens. I have my phone. This is a lot of work. I mean, we're not just talking about, just turn on a light and go live, right? You can do that though. Don't get me wrong. Do that. If you're just getting started, do that. Practice in your stories. Go ahead. You don't have to hit the live button. Just go to the actual photo and hold down the camera button and record yourself. Test it out. Post it to your story. Watch it. This is something that actually I do every so often. I'm starting to do a little bit more. I kind of do what I'm referring to as the after show, which I do over on my personal profile, because I'm not trying to do the whole business thing on the personal profile. I'm trying to be respectful of the rules on Facebook. But when I do a live like this, a show, what I do afterwards is a lot. I go back through and follow up with you guys in the comments, which is why I tell you to jump in there and have the conversation, not just with me, but other people, because you never know who you're going to connect with, and you don't know who's going to come back and watch this replay. That's a key one that I want to point out. You don't know who's going to watch this afterwards that's going to be browsing the page and be like, oh, Lindsay, you had some great comments. I like you. Let's connect. What is it that you do? Awesome. How can I get in touch with you? Perfect. Let me buy your product. Can I schedule a session? Literally, guys, that's how it goes. It only takes one person. So that's why I encourage you all the time to make those comments. That's why I encourage you to share and have the little emojis here. So let me see. What brand webcam do you use? So this is a total off-brand, super cheap, like $20 webcam. I can drop the link if people are interested afterwards. Because again, I'm not trying to be fancy. I mean, yes, this all looks fancy, but again, in my mind, I'm going for, this is a TV show. This is my show where I get to do what I want and bring who I want on and engage and connect people and talk to you guys here in the comments and follow up with you afterwards. So that's why I've gone the extra route, if you will, to really get all of this stuff working and to really, I mean, I spend literally hours on this. This is why a lot of this is what I'm going to cover in next week's live training, which won't be on Facebook. It's a paid training, but that's what I'm giving you an idea. So remember, if you're just starting out, and it doesn't matter if you're doing Facebook Lives, if you're getting a website or whatever, don't compare your stage 1 with somebody else's stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. Okay. I want you to go with baby steps. We're all learning and growing together. Let me catch up on the comments. I know I'm very passionate, as you can see, about all of that stuff and getting you guys in the right spot. Yes, practice. Exactly. Never thought of that. Mind blown. Perfect, Lindsay. I love that your insight. You don't know who will see it. Yeah, I'm going to put this on the screen because this is huge. You just don't know. Listen, you guys, you just don't know. And that's why I encourage you, even on other people's Facebook Lives, comments on just regular posts, ask questions, follow up, spend that extra 20 seconds, 30 seconds, minute if you have to really go through and comment on somebody's post, because it will change the game for you. Yes, I would love the webcam link. Yeah, Whitney, I'll pop that into the comments after the show for sure. It's so hard not to compare. Oh, I know. How many of you guys, you can do a hand emoji if you want, you can show some love, but how many of you guys can relate to this? It's so hard not to compare. Listen, I am right there with you. It doesn't matter how many years you've been in business. It doesn't matter how much of an expert you are. We all are in that same boat. We always compare. It's just human nature. But we need people to remind ourselves to be able to say, you can play the comparison game, but don't play it too much. Like, be okay with, okay, how they're doing that, but I'm not there yet. Or I like that, but let me see how I can do it for myself. So that's what we want to make sure we focus on, is not so much of how the comparison game is played, but just being able to pull back a little bit. Let's see. P.S. Can I just say how exciting it is to use my name on the screen? I know. Isn't that cool, Lindsay? That's what's awesome about this program, Ecamm Live, is that I can do that here. Whitney, yes, look at that. I love it. Giving me a hand emoji. I love it. You guys are awesome. And so you guys are on it. I love it too. This is what gets me pumped, if you couldn't tell. And this is what I love about Facebook Live, because this allows me to connect with you guys and as if we're right here. And this is what I love to do, and be able to get crazy like this. Perfect. Look at that. I know, competition, right? Or comparing. Yeah. Yeah. And so here is a fun fact that, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but when I was starting out, and this is going back to Periscope. If you guys don't know what Periscope is kind of like live broadcasting. Started before Facebook Live, and it's just like 24 hours and then it's gone. You can make it last longer now, but that's what they started out with. And so when I was jumping on that bandwagon and it was brand new, I was connecting with people left and right, one of which was Nicole Walters. And here's the thing. We became good friends because I showed up. I played a part in the comments all the time, not just with her, but with the audience. And I wasn't there selling my services. I wasn't there selling my product. I was there providing value. I was there jumping into the conversation to keep it going, to get people excited, just because that's who I am naturally. Now I realize that, you may be thinking, well, Ed, cool. Like, you definitely are not a shy guy. I am in real life. That's true. But you may be thinking like, oh, well, you're definitely like all up over here and like super excited and you got it going on here. Well, I don't. And I want you to know that it's talking with you guys and having this conversation that gets me excited, that gets me pumped and keeps me going. And when I read through the comments, when I get those messages, when I get those emails, like, I have to show up. I have to deliver. And I'm going to do that as long as I can. You know, it's awesome. And that's what I want you guys to start doing, because you have this platform. You have probably other platforms too, where you can just go and explore, test it out. And it's so simple, because all you have to do is start by dropping a comment. Literally, that's all you have to do. Drop a comment and then keep it moving. And then if somebody asks a follow-up question, you respond. And then you start moving your way up to commenting, sharing, getting a little bit deeper into the conversation, and then maybe going live. Like, there's all these steps that go into it. So you don't have to be like, oh man, I just have to go live. Ed said to go live. No, if you're not ready, that's fine. Take the other steps that you need to do to get there, which is engage in the comments. So what program am I using? So this is Mac only, Ecamm Live, which gives me the option to put your comments on the screen, but I actually made all of this here and here. So that stuff is what I'm going to cover in next week's live training, which is not going to be on Facebook. So yes, let me just catch up on the comments here. I showed up in Periscope too, and that's how I met Nicole. Yep, exactly. So it's just about connecting. And like I said, you know, when we start, thank you so much. When we start out, especially when we start out, we think we have to get all these clients. We have to get all these services out there and products out there. And we just go so big, which can be okay for a second, but then you have to remember you got to bring it in. And it's not easy. We all constantly will go big, and then we bring it in. And then we go big again, and then we bring it back in even more narrowed, right? Again, we're constantly developing and growing with our business, and that's okay. And I just want you to understand that this is where you take those baby steps. There's a method that I love to refer to. It's called Think Big, Act Small. BSQ method. Think big, act small, move quickly. So you can have your big idea, but then you need to figure out those other baby steps, right? So if going live is your big idea, then how are you going to get there if you're not ready, right? You don't need all this fancy equipment. You don't need to go get this program. You literally just need your phone, which is what I've used before, and that's what I started with. And in fact, if the Facebook Creator app gets back to working, it works, but I can't bring on guests, which is the whole point of the show, right? So if I'm on the go, believe it, I'm going to use the Facebook Creator app as long as it works for me. So that's the beauty of it, is that you don't need all this fancy equipment. You already have the equipment. Chances are you're watching me with the equipment in your hand. So cool. You guys are awesome. So that's what I want you to think about. Let's see. I feel like there was something I was going to tell. I'm going to drop links in the end, but I feel like there was something I was going to say about. I feel like it was about Facebook pages going into. Let's see if I can pull it up on the screen. It was Facebook pages, and I wanted to show you where you can comment and leave information. So let me go here and get rid of this other screen. Give me 1 second. You guys can continue in the comments. I say all the time, people carry around a 5. Yep, exactly, Tammy. Exactly. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check the comments. She just made a great point there. So let me go to my Facebook page. I just want to show you guys this because it's good for you to know. Again, not just for me, but for you, and how to guide your audience and how to start engaging more on other people's pages. So let me go ahead and switch over to my computer. Let me get rid of one thing real quick. Okay, so let's go here. So this is my page, so it will look a little different because I'm actually logged in, but you'll see that there's a spot that's called community on most pages. Let me go ahead and get rid of this one. And where will the next training happen? Yeah, so the live training, I'll put a link in the comments afterwards. There is a live training that I'm doing outside of Facebook because it's a paid option that will be next week, the 24th, where I'm going to go over Facebook Creator app and the basics of going live and show you how I've created all of these things. So that one is going to that's going to be a private lesson there. It's a group training. I'm just going to present, but it won't be on a Facebook Live here. So I'll drop that link in at the end. Hey, Tasha. So when you're on a Facebook page, most of them should have community. That's where you can actually drop in comments. So it won't show right now. I can't comment on my own page because this is my page. But if you go to somebody's page, you can actually hit community and drop a comment. So why am I showing you that? Because I want you to start engaging with other people's pages, and I want you to let me know later after this if you end up starting to use Facebook stories. Let me know. You can tag my page. It's just at Ed Troxel Creative. You can see it here on the top, or take the next step and comment as well. And it doesn't have to be on this video. You can do that through the community tab there as well. So that's the whole point of really starting to engage with Facebook and your page, because pages aren't dead, and they are easier now than they were in the past to engage with other people's posts. So now Facebook's made it so much easier for me to be my page and comment on, say, possibly your personal post that's public. So that's the beauty of it. So you want to start training yourself to get in that habit, because once you do, I can tell you from experience, it does make a difference. It does change things. And if you are looking at those numbers just to give yourself some kind of reference to see if it's working or not, you will see that it is. Now that can always change, but if you just focus on showing up, delivering, and engaging in the comments, what else do you have to do? You're good. You're golden. And the people that show up are the people that actually care, and they're the ones that are the people that you want to engage with. Right now I have, on this live broadcast, right now, I have 12 people watching. 12 people. Now, of course, that goes up and down, and there'll be plenty of replay viewers, I'm sure, but 12 people. You guys are giving me your time at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time almost. That's awesome. That's crazy. I love it. And I'm hoping that you learned something new, right? So just take this and run with it, and just keep showing up and delivering and engaging in the comments. Now, I'm going to turn it over to the outro so you guys can see that. And then I'm going to pop into the comments and catch up with you. Keep the conversation going with each other. And if you're watching the replay, awesome. Keep talking with all of us as well. And let's see. Tasha says, should we be doing this from our business or personal? Oh, business page. Always. Yeah, business page. You want to do that. Great question. Great way to end the show with that one is you want to do your lives through your business page if it's business related. If you're just practicing and you just want to kind of hang out, you can do that in your stories, or if you want to go live, you can definitely do that in your personal profile. Just don't, be like straight up like acting like it's your business page, because you can get penalized for that from Facebook. So if you're just testing or whatever, that's cool too. So I hope you guys are having a great time, and I will connect with you guys in the comments. Here we go. This episode is sponsored by Stupid Easy. Easily create, share, and sell your online courses. Discover more at stupideasy.com.